So you're telling me this was just another tweet? No, this wasn't just frustration. This was Baker Mayfield finally unloading years of bottled-up anger, and the timing made it nuclear. Just days after Kevin Stefanski lands a fresh start in Atlanta, Baker Mayfield lights the fuse and basically says, "I haven't forgotten, and I'm definitely not forgiving." If you ever wondered whether NFL grudges die quietly, this situation just proved they absolutely do not. Because when Baker Mayfield saw that article calling his Cleveland quarterback era a failure, something snapped. Not the fake outrage kind. Not the social media performance kind. This was raw. This was personal. And when Baker said he got shipped off like a piece of garbage, that wasn't just a quote. That was a warning shot. Let's be clear about something right away. This is not rumor. The tweet is real. The words are real. But the interpretation, the emotion, and what it means going forward, that's where things get very interesting. Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski were supposed to be the future in Cleveland. Remember that. In 2020, everything finally clicked. 11 wins. Playoff victory over the Steelers. Cleveland fans crying tears of joy because the Browns were finally acting like a real franchise. Stefanski wins Coach of the Year. Baker looks like he's growing into the franchise quarterback everyone hoped for when he went number 1 overall. And then it all unraveled. Here's where I'm going to give my honest fan opinion. Baker Mayfield never felt like Kevin Stefanski's guy. Even during the good times, it always felt like Baker was tolerated, not trusted. The offense got tighter. The leash got shorter. And when Baker got hurt in 2021, the relationship quietly died. That shoulder injury matters more than people admit. Baker was clearly compromised. Anyone watching could see it. But instead of protecting him, instead of sitting him, Cleveland pushed forward. And when the season went sideways, Baker took the blame. Not shared blame. The blame. Then came the Deshaun Watson move. This is where Baker's resentment fully makes sense. You don't trade for another quarterback unless you're done with the one you have. Period. That was the moment Baker knew his time was over. And according to Baker himself, that ending wasn't handled with respect. No call. No message. No closure. Just gone. That's why the phrase, "still waiting on a text," hit so hard. That's not football talk. That's human talk. And now Kevin Stefanski is in Atlanta. Let's talk about that Falcons job for a second. Stefanski isn't walking into a rebuild with zero expectations. He's walking into a division that's wide open, a roster that believes it can compete, and a fan base desperate for stability. But guess who's waiting in that same division? Baker Mayfield. Twice a year. Every year. That's not coincidence. That's cinema. Now let's address the claim that Baker failed in Cleveland. That word failed is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Did Baker win a Super Bowl there? No. Did he stabilize the franchise, win a playoff game, and bring relevance back to Cleveland football? Absolutely. To call that failure feels lazy. And Baker knows it. That's why he pushed back publicly. Not aggressively, not disrespectfully, but sharply. He didn't deny the criticism. He rejected the narrative. Fast forward to Tampa Bay. This part matters more than people think. Baker didn't disappear. He didn't fade into backup purgatory. He rebuilt his career. 2 playoff appearances in his first 2 years with the Buccaneers. Leadership, toughness, respect in the locker room. Yes, 2025 didn't end in the playoffs. That's a fact. But an 8-9 record in a chaotic NFC South where tiebreakers decided everything? That's not collapse. That's competitive football. And now Tampa Bay versus Atlanta isn't just divisional football. It's personal. Here's my prediction, and this is opinion, not reporting. Baker Mayfield is circling those Falcons games already. Quarterbacks don't forget moments like this. They store them. They use them. And Baker plays best when he feels disrespected. Kevin Stefanski, whether he likes it or not, just became part of Baker's motivation. Now let me ask you something honestly. If you were Baker and your former coach never reached out, replaced you, and let the narrative paint you as disposable, wouldn't you feel the same way? Wouldn't you want your chance to respond on the field? This isn't about trash talk. This is about legacy. Baker Mayfield has spent his entire career fighting labels. Too loud. Too cocky. Not good enough. Not stable. Not elite. And yet, here he is, still starting, still competing, still relevant. Kevin Stefanski gets a fresh chapter in Atlanta. Baker Mayfield gets a chance to rewrite the ending of his Cleveland story every time they line up across from each other. So here's the real question I want you to think about, and drop it in the comments. Was Cleveland wrong to give up on Baker Mayfield, or was Baker right to walk away when he did? Because next season, when Tampa Bay and Atlanta collide, one of these men is going to walk away validated, and the other is going to hear that tweet echo a little louder.